darlings. Today I'm going to talk about some of my main characters' voices from my books and how they have come about and how it's been going as a newbie audiobook narrator. So I'm almost done with my first book. Everything is uploaded. I know I have 2 chapters I have to fix something in, and I don't remember where those are. So I'm going to have to do a lot of re-listening. That's fun. And then I'm partway through my second book, and that has been challenging because that is through my male character Michael's point of view, and so I'm going to be doing the entire book in his voice. So that's probably going to be like 8 or 9 hours of talking like this, because this is what Michael sounds like. He's a little bit more stoic, and he has a very distinct way of talking, and I don't know how this came up just one day. This is how it came. So this is how he talks. And when I first started narrating like him, it was challenging, and I need to do a lot of throat clearing. I even had a bit of a headache and a sore throat, but now I'm starting to get slightly more used to it. And for my first book, it is in Andy's point of view. She is in her mid-20s and she sounds just like me. So generally speaking, if you have a main character, they're going to sound like you unless they have some sort of specific, distinct voice quality that doesn't match your voice. So Andy's book was much easier to do than Michael's book is turning out to be. And then there's V, and V is going to be the third book, and that should be interesting, but hopefully my voice will be used to it by then. And then there's Avery. And Avery is Michael's wife, and I feel like she just sounds like a female version of Michael. She is also stoic. She doesn't like to show a lot of emotion. She can be kind of cold. And Avery so far does not have a book, but she might have a novella about how her and Michael met. And we can see her as a young teenager, and that should be fun for me. And then I have side characters, but those are kind of the main characters. And so I feel like they all sound relatively distinct. And I feel like even some of my side characters do sound different, because there's Jess. Jess has a breathier voice. And then there's Tiff, and Tiff's voice is high as well, but it's not as breathy, and she talks more quickly. And then there's Tim. Tim is kind of like a human teddy bear, and for whatever reason, I have to do this thing with my shoulders and my mouth when I do Tim's voice. And then there's Amazonia, and Amazonia has a deeper, more deliberate voice. And then there's Dylan, and Dylan is Andy's coworker, and he actually starts the first book. He sounds a little bit like a game show host. But then I have problems with a character named David, because David just has a general deeper voice. It's a little bit smoother. I feel like V has maybe more vocal fry. Is that what you call it? I don't know. But David, it's deeper, it's smoother, it's smooth. But there are other characters who sound similar to David, and so trying to differentiate them is interesting. But luckily, they're not together in any scenes, so I don't know how important that is. So, yeah, those are a lot of my characters. And like I have no helpful information on how those voices came to me. And I don't know how other people do it. So that's interesting. And the other thing I think about is, what happens when I narrate other people's books? Because I know I was reading a book to my love, and the main male character did sound an awful lot like Michael, but they had similar personality traits. So I was like, am I gonna be that person where I just have my set voices and I just keep reusing them? Or will I be able to come up with nuanced ones? I don't know. It's been really interesting. And my voice feels weird. It's a lot of talking. I do notice, now that I'm paying more attention, that I've been trying to enunciate more clearly in general. I was going to add, this is so all over the place, I didn't get accepted for my first audition that I did. I looked at a bunch of auditions, actually. So I did one, and then I was looking at a bunch of others, and one had, the male character had a British accent, and I was like, I'm not comfortable enough with that one. And then the other ones, like, they had their entire, like, book for their, like, sample, and I'm like, how much do you read? Like, I'm still very much learning all of this stuff, and I was thinking about that. I was, like, a little sad that I didn't get the book I was looking at, because it was a shorter one, and it was, like, royalty share, so the chance of making a whole bunch of money was not very high. Starting out, I'm not going to be worried about that because I'm new, and that's always daunting and scary, and I feel like my voice in general isn't the most pleasant. Like, I don't feel like it's horrible, but I don't feel like, you know, when people are talking about being narrators and you're like, oh, that's a nice voice, like, theirs is the kind of voice you can listen to on the radio. And so I was like, should I just change my voice? Actually, funnily enough, my ex-husband does do that. Like, has a very nice, deep, natural voice, but actually, like, ups it to try to be less threatening. So I'm like, I could just change my voice. What should I sound like? Should I sound sexy? I don't know. Goodness gracious. And I don't know, like, how strong my Minnesotan accent is either. I was thinking about that, like, saying bag, because I've heard, like, people have made fun of, like, how we say that aren't from here, and I'm like, I need to learn these things. Like, what things do I say that sound particularly Minnesotan? And I do have a character that I, like, way Minnesota her up. So Minnesotan. It's very fun. Wow, I'm rambling. I have to clean my house. I will talk to you later. I hope you have a great day if you're a narrator. Keep on keeping on. Talk all over the place. Have fun. If you're not a narrator, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me ramble, and I hope you have a beautiful day and a sexy voice.